planner, administrator.
You're everything tonight, administrator, planner.
Political hack, everything.
Oh, look, Bob's here.
Bob's here.
Bob's here.
Good evening, Mayor.
Hi, Bob.
Council, how are you? I forgot to bring my book, so if I'm on YouTube, I might as well push the book, right? Okay. In terms of Ridge Road development, I'm pleased to report that we have 2 contracts under attorney review for 2 separate properties on Ridge Road. These properties have either been vacant for a long period of time or under sale for a long period of time. So progress is being made on some development on the Ridge Road corridor. We have prepared amendments to the Ridge Road redevelopment plan to the town planner. I know there was an issue at the special meeting on the 28th regarding language in the redevelopment plan. We are meeting on Monday with the planner to go over potential amendments to the redevelopment plan, but also to indicate to her what potential sites have developed an interest over a period of time within the community. We have had several very large companies coming into the town looking for specifically townhome development. So things have opened up in terms of the Ridge Road corridor. One point I wanted to ask the mayor and council this evening is, in fact, I would like to request permission to speak to NJ Transit regarding the turnaround on Ridge Road, regarding the bus, specifically to look at that as a potential additional parking area for Ridge Road in the future. I think it's something that should be explored, and I'm asking for permission to speak to NJ Transit regarding the use of that site, because if you look at the turnaround and the size of the buses and the turns, that site is much bigger than what is needed in terms of turning radius for those buses. So if we are moving forward with potential enhancement of Ridge Road, businesses and so forth, from a long-term planning perspective, we really should consider looking at that in terms of converting that into potential parking area.
And moving the turnaround to a different location.
Matter of fact, Councilman, the planner on the Ridge Road redevelopment suggested that back in 2001 to relocate it, to make it go deeper into North Arlington, almost to the Lyndhurst border.
To accommodate more of our residents.
Correct, that would give you complete coverage of the Ridge Road in North Arlington with bus service. So you don't have to let me know now, I could ask the administrator later on. I'm glad someone is here to represent Clayton Block, because my next section of my report deals with Porreed Avenue. I'm pleased to report to the board that I have been meeting with the owner of the Bethlehem Steel site on several occasions. They have hired Langen Engineering. Their engineering has gone very, very deep into detail. They have met with both NJ Transit, NJ DEP to discuss all the permitting requirements to develop that particular site, anything from the brownfield issues to access to the Belleville Turnpike, and there are some wetland issues that have to be addressed in terms of crossing over the water line. They have done all their geotech work, they have done all their surveying, they have done a very detailed site plan for the site, to the point where our discussions centered the last time I was with them for a potential application before the planning board in September. So we're looking forward to working with them. They have asked me to work with them, especially dealing with the NJDEP and DOT application and permitting process, to try to expedite it, because they do have a very tight window frame because they do have a potential user for that particular site. The RFQ that I spoke about last month has been prepared. It has been submitted to the borough attorney for his review. And let me just make it very clear again. I'll make it very clear again. Final designation of what properties that will be in the RFQ have not been made. The only individuals that can make that is this mayor and council. And in the report this evening, these are public records, the RFQ does not have, and I'll read it, the RFQ does not have any language whatsoever suggesting or stating that eminent domain will be used. I've been repeating that pretty much every month for the last 2 or 3 months since I've been on. As I indicated the last month, there are many ways to develop this site. Matter of fact, in previous reports submitted to the mayor and council, I question whether Clayton Block should in fact be part of any RFQ or development other than what it is. An issue that we have in this area of New Jersey is an issue dealing where do we put heavy industrial uses. There are not many sites anymore, especially in New Jersey now, where everything is a brownfield site that gets torn down. And so you have an operation, an industry like a Clayton Block that has very few opportunities to be moved anywhere else because there's not a lot of heavy industrial sites. Matter of fact, some of the individuals that I brought in to look at the site for the potential of the redevelopment indicated that most of them do work with Clayton Block anyway, and they would not want to do anything to hurt Clayton Block. So I emphasize that again this evening. The other property on that Horry Avenue redevelopment area is the present H&M warehouse, or owned by Prologis, which is a very, very viable warehouse in the redevelopment zone that I would recommend not be included in any element of an RFQ. So having said that, I hope I've clarified the record for the attorney. There has been some interest on River Road. Some of the properties that have been looked at by individuals, especially on the river side of things. I did a thorough analysis of the NJDEP riparian maps, and the amount of property left on those areas are a very small slither and very, very narrow. And for some of them are wider. Some of them have cleared their riparian claims, which is a good thing, which might be the potential. But at this point, I would recommend to the governing body that you look at it in terms of potential of green acres or some other kind of recreational use. In terms of Schuyler, the interesting part that we were approached by a national development company that does townhomes and has had projects recently in Garfield. So I'm giving you a hint of whom it might be, had an interest on Schuyler Avenue for townhomes, which from a rateable perspective would be a good add to the community. So that is my report. I will provide you additional information. Obviously, whatever we prepare with the developer will come forward. And as always, it's the governing body and the planning board that makes those decisions. I can only recommend.
A question, Mayor?
Yes.
That steel property. At one point in time, we actually had FedEx looking at that steel property. And one of the holdups was that it was in the Sellers Interchange, it was by that bridge, where they were trying to get NJDOT approval to have access to there as well. Are they also looking at that to get access to Route 7? Because the whole key to Bethlehem Steel property is access. getting in and out.
Matter of fact, Councilman, I've seen them prepare two they prepared two circulation plans that would be beneficial not only for their site, but for the rest of Port Reed, which would require them to give up some of that property. Because when I was at the commission, I basically said it was okay to use Disposal Road as an access point in and out until the interchange was done across from Sellers. They actually showed me a way that could work through Disposal Road for the rest of Port Reed without the extensive costs and permitting to go out maybe across Sellers if in fact you can get that curb cut on Route 7. Because Route 7 right now is under review as a quote potential reconstruction of Route 7 at that point. The whole issue really is the trestle over Route 7 at that point. And they, NJD Transit will not remove the trestle.
Any question here? Completely off topic. Draft recall. Looks like the court's come to a decision. Towns that have filed are going to go in front of the courts now and see that their applications have been substantiated or been validated, or they're going to have to refile. I know Susan is working on our plan. Is that something that she's also looking at? Is what the borough's commitment to our COA commitment, what we have, what we haven't done, what we need to do so we're compliant? Because I know there's a short window of 90 days since the decision in June to file. So is that going to be part of the process that you can follow up?
Well, I will suggest to you that that's something that we should discuss in closed session. That in fact, for me to answer one way or another would be inappropriate in
That's fine.
public
Okay.
because of whatever. How did I do, counsel?
Very good, very well.
I have one question, Mayor, if it's okay. In your plan, is there any mention of eminent domain?
No, sir.
No, thank you.
Again, I bring up the point of Harrison.
It's supposed to be a joke, by the way, guys. I laughed, you know, it's bad.
As I pointed out, there's many ways of effectuating economic development without eminent domain. And the one thing I do want to report is Councilman Pronti asked me about the potential of a shuttle service for the new townhomes along the Schuyler Avenue area. NJ Transit would not entertain unless you had lots and lots of riders, unless they said to me that the council would like to pay for the bus route, which I laughed a lot. But there is a potential approach of an organization called Metalink that is now in effect right now for the Vermella property in Lyndhurst along their Oriented Way, which ends up being Schuyler. They would not have a problem based on potential ridership out of those townhomes to look at the potential of extending it down and changing the schedule.
Because they are almost on the townhomes that are being built, and I
Yes.
guess there's plans for other ones to be built.
Yes.
I know that would change the scope of the people that are looking at it. Because if you're a commuter, you'd be more inclined to look at the property
Correct.
knowing that you can get to work.
Correct.
You know, so it could be beneficial to the people looking for suitable housing.
And the good news is that I think the saturation of the rental market in some areas for North Arlington, people are more and more interested in building townhomes.
Mr. Silvera, before you leave, I want a motion on the floor to grant him permission from all of us to search out New Jersey Transit and give him permission to talk to New Jersey Transit on that busting. Can I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Second. Call the roll.
Councilman Cornell?
Yes.
Councilman Franti?
Yes.
Councilwoman Cruz?
Yes.
Councilman Davenport?
Yes.
Councilman Henry?
Yes.
Councilman Hughes?
Yes.
Thank you.
Bob Severia. Does everybody know Bob Severia?
Last year again?
He's here.
Mr. Severia?
Bob
And
Severia?
don't forget, my book is on Amazon. You can buy my book at Amazon. It's $6 less if you buy it on Amazon because I get less of a royalty.
What's the title?
Oh, Meadowlands.
Better plan.
New Jersey Meadowlands and history.
Is there any casinos in it?
No,
Yeah, next book, chapter 2.
Chapter
I
2.
left the last chapter very open, so there's a sequel.
One thing with the bus loop, if the New Jersey Transit's not in a position where they're willing to give it up or cede it, see if they're willing to let us build over it with some kind of parking deck or parking garage on top of it.
Well-
When we talked about moving it to the further down into the depths of the town.
Oh, yes, yes.
But if they're not willing to do that, see if that's another option that they might be willing to.
Well, Council President, there was a program at the Bergen County Improvement Authority as late as last year that would enter into joint agreements with municipalities for the purposes of building parking decks. And there would be a share in, obviously, after the bonds, the debt service was was annually made to the BCIA, then the surpluses left over would be shared between the county and the community. So I will explore that option as well. But obviously, the height issue for the for the bus turnaround, but it could act as a parking lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Boxer.
Council reports.